The circumference of the Earth is roughly 40,000 kilometers or 25,000 miles. It would take about 17 days to drive a full circle around the world. Driving from South Africa to Egypt would take about 7 days non-stop. Now, driving from Morocco to Miami, America would take 3 days non-stop. The problem now is there is no way to drive from Africa to North or South America. But what if we had the technology to be able to drive to any continent at any time? How would this change travel and immigration? That is what we'll talk about today on GreenClick. By the way, be a friend and subscribe. Click the notification button to get alerts and like the video to help us make more videos you love about our amazing continent. Let's dive in. Building a bridge usually takes years to plan, depending on the load it will take, the support it will have, and the span it will cross. And that is why it usually costs over $1 million to build the most basic of bridges that will carry carloads. There are too many bridges to count in the world, with the longest spanning at 102 miles or 164 kilometers by the name of Danyan Kushan Grand Bridge. It is funny because a hypothetical bridge from Morocco to Miami would be 42 times longer than the world's longest bridge, and the support would have to go over 8,000 meters below. That would be taller than Mount Kilimanjaro. It would also cost almost $200 billion to build. Clearly, one can see that this would be daunting physically and economically. But let's live in fantasy land right now and say that the bridges connected every single continent. What would the Earth look like if one had to drive to Australia? A bridge would be constructed most likely from Durban, South Africa, and it would end at Karratha or Geraldton on the west of Australia. It would take almost 4 days to travel non-stop. Monrovia in Liberia to Fortaleza, Brazil would connect Africa and South America with its own bridge that would be over 3,000 kilometers. That would take about 2 days maximum non-stop. The connection to Asia would begin at Bagal, Somalia and end at Mumbai, India at about 2,400 kilometers, taking you a day and a half non-stop. Going to Europe would be the easiest, as Tangiers, Morocco to Algeciras, Spain would take 2 hours at 62 kilometers. If you wanted to go to good old America, it would take you 3 days to cross the Atlantic, as you'd leave from Nouakchott, Mauritania to Miami, USA. If traveling to these places by road were possible, it would change the world just like television and the internet. It will give people an alternative route to travel, even though it will be a supremely long journey for someone, let's say, traveling to America from South Africa. This would also create more jobs because not that many people would drive continuously to their destinations. This would mean that hotels would have to be built on the oceans for those who would have overnight rests. Strip malls might accompany these hotels, but gas stations would definitely be needed along the bridges, which would increase the budget to build these bridges. Transit would boom economy-wise because we would have bus and train systems along the bridges. To maintain these bridges and buildings, personnel would have to live temporarily between continents in shifts. As we are dreaming about the possibility of taking road trips to other continents, let's also consider the cons of the bridges. Immigration would be delicate. If there were refugees trying to flee their homeland and decided to flood the borders of Spain or even India, it could be extremely dangerous for the refugees to storm the border, as the highway leading to the country would most likely be heavily guarded. Countries like Spain and Brazil would have the constant pressure to protect their continents from illegal immigrants or even terrorists. Another problem would be accidents or maintenance of the bridges. If a deadly accident happened on a trip between Africa and Australia in the central location of the bridge, it would be challenging to get medical aid. Constant monitoring and maintenance of the bridges would be expensive. Having bridges would also change major routes of ships used for trade, as these bridges would be literal roadblocks for the ships. As we talk more about the cons, maybe it's for the best that there are no bridges connecting the continents. If you have reached this stage of the video, we'd like to thank you for sharing your time with us. But comment below if you'd love driving across continents if it were possible. I definitely would, because I don't like flying. But what do you think? Would love to hear your side on this. If you'd like to be informed when we roll out new videos, give us a like to help us with the YouTube algorithm. Share this with a friend and drop a comment if you disagree or would like to request a video. Till then, brothers and sisters, have a nice day.